Marilyn Monroe, born Norma Jeane Mortensen, was more than Hollywood's radiant star. She was a woman caught in a web of ambition, romance, and secrets that stretched far beyond the silver screen. From a childhood marked by instability to her meteoric rise as a global icon, her life was a tapestry of triumph and turmoil. Yet, beneath the glamour lay a shadowy world of political intrigue, clandestine affairs, and whispered conspiracies that would define her legacy. Entangled with the powerful Kennedy brothers, privy to Cold War secrets, and rumored to hold knowledge of extraterrestrial cover-ups, Marilyn's story is one of dazzling fame and dangerous truths. Her 1962 death, officially a suicide, sparked decades of speculation: murder by the CIA, a mafia hit, or even a faked escape to flee her perilous ties. This story unravels the enigma of Marilyn Monroe, exploring the conspiracies and controversies that transformed her from a Hollywood legend into a symbol of hidden truths, forever shrouded in mystery. On June 1, 1926, Norma Jeane Mortensen was born in Los Angeles, California, to Gladys Pearl Baker, a single mother struggling with mental illness. The absence of a stable family defined Norma Jeane's early years as she was shuttled between foster homes, orphanages, and relatives. Her mother's frequent hospitalizations left young Norma Jeane vulnerable, fostering a resilience that would later fuel her ambition. Growing up in the shadow of Hollywood, she dreamed of escape, finding solace in movie theaters where she idolized stars like Jean Harlow. These early experiences shaped her determination to transcend her circumstances, planting the seeds for her transformation into an icon. By the late 1930s, Norma Jeane's life was marked by uncertainty. At age 12, she endured abuse in foster care, an ordeal that deepened her distrust of authority and honed her ability to navigate complex social dynamics. Her beauty began to attract attention, and by 1941, she was working in a munitions factory during World War II. A chance encounter with a photographer in 1942 changed her trajectory, leading to modeling gigs that showcased her natural charisma. To avoid returning to an orphanage, she married James Dougherty at 16, a pragmatic union that provided stability but stifled her dreams. The marriage was a fleeting chapter, ending in 1946 as her aspirations outgrew her small-town life. This period laid the foundation for Norma Jeane's reinvention. Her early exposure to Hollywood's allure, coupled with the hardships of her youth, instilled a duality: vulnerability paired with fierce ambition. The munitions factory job, while mundane, introduced her to the power of her image, as her photographs caught the eye of talent scouts. By 1942, Norma Jeane was no longer just a foster child. She was on the cusp of becoming Marilyn Monroe, a name that would soon captivate the world. Her early struggles forged a persona that was both relatable and enigmatic, setting the stage for her meteoric rise. As World War II raged, Norma Jeane transitioned from factory worker to model, her striking features gracing magazine covers by 1944. Adopting the name Marilyn Monroe suggested by a studio executive, she signed with 20th Century Fox in 1946, landing bit parts in films like Dangerous Years, 1947. Her screen presence, even in minor roles, hinted at a star in the making. By 1948, she starred in Ladies of the Chorus, a low-budget musical that showcased her singing and charm. These early roles, though small, were stepping stones to her breakthrough performances in The Asphalt Jungle and All About Eve in 1950, which established her as a serious talent. Marilyn's personal life during this period was as dynamic as her career. Her 1946 divorce from Dougherty freed her to pursue Hollywood full-time, but it also exposed her to the industry's predatory underbelly. She navigated casting couches and studio politics, learning to leverage her allure while studying acting to prove her depth. Her 1954 marriage to baseball legend Joe DiMaggio was a high-profile union, but his discomfort with her public persona led to its collapse within 9 months. Marilyn's determination to be more than a sex symbol drove her to the actor's studio, where she honed her craft under Lee Strasberg, earning respect for her dedication. The late 1940s were a crucible for Marilyn's identity. She crafted a public image of effortless glamour while privately battling insecurity and the pressure to conform to Hollywood's expectations. Her early films revealed a raw talent that captivated audiences, but her off-screen relationships with industry insiders hinted at her growing influence. By 1950, Marilyn was no longer Norma Jeane. She was a rising star whose beauty and ambition were drawing attention from powerful figures beyond Hollywood, including those in political spheres who saw her as more than just an actress. By 1951, Marilyn's star was ascendant, with roles in Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, 1953, and How to Marry a Millionaire, 1953, cementing her as Hollywood's leading lady. Her comedic timing and magnetic presence made her a box office draw, but her private life was increasingly entangled with the Kennedy family. Introduced to Senator John F. Kennedy in 1954 through Peter Lawford, Marilyn's flirtation with JFK evolved into a passionate affair by 1956. Their clandestine meetings, often at Lawford's beach house, were marked by intense chemistry and whispered confidences, positioning Marilyn as a trusted ally in JFK's political orbit. By 1958, Marilyn's relationship with the Kennedys expanded to include Robert F. Kennedy, the Attorney General. Her simultaneous affairs with both brothers created a complex dynamic, as she became a confidant privy to their political strategies and personal vulnerabilities. Marilyn's charm made her a unique asset capable of disarming powerful men and extracting information. Her 1956 marriage to playwright Arthur Miller, intended to lend her intellectual credibility, crumbled under the strain of her Kennedy ties and her growing dependence on prescription drugs. The marriage ended in 1961, leaving Marilyn vulnerable but deeply embedded in the Kennedy inner circle. Marilyn's role as a Kennedy confidant was not merely personal, it had political implications. Her travels to Europe and Mexico for film promotions doubled as opportunities to gather intelligence as she mingled with foreign dignitaries and reported back to JFK. Her home was bugged by multiple parties, the CIA, the Mafia, and Jimmy Hoffa's Teamsters, capturing conversations that revealed her access to sensitive information. By 1960, as JFK assumed the presidency, Marilyn's dual life as a Hollywood icon and political insider placed her at the heart of a dangerous nexus, setting the stage for her covert activities in the Cold War. In 1960, Marilyn's role as an informal spy for JFK took shape. Her international fame allowed her to move freely among global elites, making her an ideal operative for gathering intelligence during the Cold War. Her trips to Mexico in 1961, ostensibly for the Misfits promotion, involved meetings with figures like Indonesian President Sukarno, whose anti-American sentiments were of interest to the U.S. government. Marilyn's ability to charm and disarm made her a valuable asset, as she relayed insights to JFK about foreign leaders' intentions. Her home, wired with surveillance by multiple factions, captured discussions about the Cuban Missile Crisis and CIA operations, underscoring her access to classified information. Marilyn's spy activities extended beyond intelligence gathering. She was tasked with delivering messages to international contacts, leveraging her celebrity to bypass scrutiny. Her 1961 visit to London included discreet meetings with British officials, where she passed along sensitive information about US-Soviet negotiations. These activities were coordinated through Peter Lawford, who ensured her safety while maintaining plausible deniability for the Kennedys. However, the constant surveillance by the CIA, Mafia, and even the FBI placed Marilyn under immense pressure, exacerbating her reliance on barbiturates and alcohol to cope with the stress. By 1962, Marilyn's dual life was unraveling. Her mental health deteriorated as she struggled to balance her public persona with her covert responsibilities. Her relationships with both Kennedys grew strained, particularly with RFK, who distanced himself as her behavior became erratic. Marilyn's threat to hold a press conference exposing her affairs and the secrets she had learned, including JFK's revelations about extraterrestrial evidence at a secret airbase, made her a liability. Her knowledge of the 1947 Roswell crash, shared during intimate moments with JFK, positioned her as a threat to national security, setting the stage for her tragic end. In the spring of 1962, Marilyn's life reached a breaking point. Her performance of Happy Birthday for JFK at Madison Square Garden on May 19th was a public spectacle that fueled rumors of their affair. Privately, she was spiraling, battling insomnia and depression while grappling with her role as a Kennedy confidant. On August 4th, 1962, RFK visited her Brentwood home where wiretaps recorded a heated argument. Marilyn accused him of abandoning her after she underwent an abortion, allegedly of his child. That evening, she was found dead, officially ruled a probable suicide from a barbiturate overdose. The scene raised suspicions. No glass of water was found near her bed despite the number of pills, and her housekeeper, Eunice Murray, was seen washing sheets, suggesting a cover-up. The official narrative was quickly challenged. Evidence pointed to murder, with the CIA implicated in administering a lethal barbiturate enema to silence Marilyn's knowledge of UFOs and Kennedy secrets. The mafia under Sam Giancana was also suspected, motivated by a desire to undermine the Kennedys. A helicopter was reported landing near her home, possibly facilitating RFK's swift departure. The absence of forensic evidence, such as stomach contents showing pill residue, and the rapid cremation of her body fueled speculation that her death was staged to protect national security interests tied to extraterrestrial cover-ups. Another theory suggests Marilyn faked her death to escape the dangers closing in. Sightings of her in Europe in the years following 1962, living under an assumed identity, support this narrative. The alien conspiracy gained traction with claims that Marilyn was killed to prevent her from revealing JFK's knowledge of Roswell artifacts. A 1962 FBI document, partially redacted, indicated RFK's involvement in inducing her suicide to protect these secrets. Wiretapper Bernard Spindel's recordings, seized in 1966, captured RFK and Lawford discussing her death, with sounds of a struggle, suggesting she was forcibly subdued to prevent her from exposing the truth about extraterrestrial evidence. In the aftermath of Marilyn's death, conspiracy theories flourished. In 1964, Frank Capel's pamphlet claimed RFK orchestrated her murder to cover up their affair, igniting public suspicion. The 1963 assassination of JFK and the 1968 killing of RFK intensified scrutiny, with many believing Marilyn's death was part of a broader Kennedy cover-up. By 1975, Robert Slatzer's book, The Life and Curious Death of Marilyn Monroe, alleged a secret marriage to Marilyn and her murder by RFK, citing her possession of a red diary detailing Kennedy secrets. This diary, reportedly wiretapped by Jimmy Hoffa, contained notes on CIA plots to assassinate Fidel Castro, making it a coveted artifact. In the 1970s, Anthony Scaduto's Who Killed Marilyn Monroe, 1976, introduced the idea that the mafia, in collusion with the CIA, killed her to weaken the Kennedys' political power. The 1982 Los Angeles District Attorney's investigation into her death concluded there was no credible evidence of murder, but its limited scope, ignoring wiretap evidence and witness testimonies, did little to quell speculation. Private investigator Milo Spiriglio's 1986 book, The Marilyn Conspiracy, offered a $10,000 reward for the Red Diary, claiming it held proof of a CIA-orchestrated hit tied to the Bay of Pigs fallout. These theories, fueled by public distrust of government post-Watergate, kept Marilyn's death in the spotlight. The 1980s saw further revelations. Witnesses, including former LAPD officer Mike Rothmiller, claimed access to suppressed police files detailing RFK's presence at Marilyn's home on August 4, 1962. Wiretap evidence allegedly destroyed by the FBI captured discussions about UFOs and Kennedy political strategies. The destruction of Bernard Spindel's tapes in 1966, which reportedly included sounds of Marilyn's final moments, reinforced beliefs in a government cover-up. By the decade's end, Marilyn's death was cemented as a symbol of hidden truths, with her Kennedy ties and alien knowledge at the heart of the narrative. The 1990s brought new accounts that deepened the conspiracy. Marilyn, The Last Take, 1992, by Peter Harry Brown and Pat Barham, cited flawed forensic work and the rapid promotion of Marilyn's publicist, Pat Newcomb, to a U.S. information agency role, suggesting a cover-up. Donald Wolfe's The Last Days of Marilyn Monroe, 1998, detailed wiretap evidence from the Teamsters and Mafia, implicating both in her death. The book also highlighted the suspicious timing of her autopsy, conducted without proper oversight, and the disappearance of key evidence, such as her stomach contents, which could have confirmed or refuted the overdose narrative. In 2004, Matthew Smith's Marilyn's Last Words argued that the CIA killed her to punish the Kennedys for the Bay of Pigs fiasco, using her death to send a message to JFK and RFK. The UFO conspiracy gained prominence with Dr. Stephen Greer's 2017 documentary Unacknowledged, which claimed Marilyn was murdered to silence her about Roswell and extraterrestrial artifacts. A 2007 FBI document discovered by filmmaker Philippe Mora suggested RFK's complicity in inducing her suicide to protect these secrets. The document, partially redacted, referenced a special project tied to national security, fueling speculation that Marilyn's knowledge of UFOs was a factor in her demise. The 2000s also saw renewed interest in the fake death theory. Alleged sightings of Marilyn in Switzerland and Canada, living under aliases like Jean Norman, were reported by fringe investigators. These claims, supported by inconsistencies in her autopsy report, such as the lack of pill residue in her stomach, suggested she may have been smuggled out of Los Angeles to avoid assassination. The destruction of police and FBI files, combined with the rapid cleanup of her home, lent credence to the idea that her death was staged to protect her and the Kennedys' secrets, including those tied to extraterrestrial cover-ups. The 2010s brought fresh scrutiny to Marilyn's story. The 2017 release of JFK Files confirmed RFK's presence in Los Angeles on August 4, 1962, supporting claims of his involvement in her final hours. The 2022 Netflix documentary, The Mystery of Marilyn Monroe, The Unheard Tapes, presented interviews with her inner circle, including wiretapper Fred Otash, who claimed to have recordings of RFK at her home. These tapes, though missing, were said to capture Marilyn's threats to expose Kennedy's secrets, including UFO-related information. The documentary also highlighted the rapid promotion of figures like Pat Newcomb, suggesting a coordinated effort to suppress the truth. By 2025, Donald Trump's release of 80,000 pages of unredacted JFK files reignited interest in Marilyn's death. Researchers anticipated revelations about her role as a Cold War spy and her knowledge of extraterrestrial evidence, though key documents remained classified. Her estate continued to generate millions, with her image adorning everything from fashion to art, as seen in the 2022 sale of Andy Warhol's shot Sage Blue Marilyn for $195 million. Her cultural impact endured, but so did the mysteries surrounding her life, particularly her Kennedy ties and the alien conspiracy that cast her as a threat to national security. Marilyn Monroe's life was a labyrinth of glamour, intrigue, and tragedy. From her turbulent childhood to her rise as Hollywood's brightest star, she navigated a world of power and deception. Her role as a Cold War operative for the Kennedys, her knowledge of UFOs, and her tangled relationships with JFK and RFK placed her at the center of a deadly conspiracy. Whether murdered by the CIA or Mafia or spirited away to live in obscurity, her death remains an unsolved puzzle. The truth, buried in destroyed tapes and classified files, ensures that Marilyn's story, a blend of beauty, betrayal, and cosmic secrets, continues to captivate and confound, a testament to her enduring legacy as an icon and enigma. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this and would like to see more, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Make sure to hit the bell so you are notified when a new video is dropped. Until next time, uncover the truth and question the past.